Okay. Let's go live. Hello, hello. Can you hear me? All right. Picking up my mic, picking up game sound. Let's get some music going. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. How are you all doing today? Hello. First to join. Well, welcome. Technically, I was the first to join, but I mean. Good morning, good morning. I've never played Calamity, so I don't have an opinion on it whatsoever. First time catching it live? Well, hello, welcome. Yes, so it's been a while since I've posted videos because I've been working on a couple of very big videos that I'm hoping will be coming out soon. One of them is ranking every block in Terraria, which you could imagine how much work that is. It's a massive amount of work. The ranking is done. The recording for the most part is done. I'm just in the big process of editing that video. I'm also working on a couple things that I cannot talk about just yet. I'll give you more information on those later. But it's also been a while because there's been a lot of apartment renovations and stuff going around. It's been too loud to play. So that's kind of why we've been lacking on videos, but we've been streaming when I've had time and when it's been quiet. I'm hoping to stream every day for the rest of this week as well. Some of them will be mornings like this, or at least mornings for me, and some of them will be evenings. Let's make that a little bit quieter. I can barely hear myself speak. There we go. But the videos have to take priority. I need to get those out. So I'm going to be hopefully wrapping those up very soon. The block tier videos taking a lot more work than I thought it would, but I think it's going to be pretty cool once we're done. Hello, hello. You're on the train on your way home? You know, I kind of wish that I lived in an area where I could commute via train, because that sounds fun. Or maybe I'd hate it after a while, who knows. So yes, we are going to be continuing work on the adventure map that I had started a couple of weeks ago during a live stream. So far, all we have is a spawn area. You actually spawn inside that dark area. This is going to be our respawn system. So if you die, you get teleported straight to one of these checkpoints, which we'll have scattered throughout the map. They might look different than this. I don't know. This is just kind of prototyping. But there'll be an off checkpoint. Once you cross it, it'll turn on. Next time you die, you'll get sent back to there. So it's going to be a linear progression map. We also picked out some music and sound effects and vanities and stuff. And then we started the build. So you're going to be starting off in this house over here. Obviously, players will not have the Spectre goggles, so they won't see any of the echo blocks that I have hidden around. But essentially, you're going to be a butcher. You're starting off in this hut over here. I'll be hiding a teleporter in here eventually, so that you don't actually see yourself, you know, just you know, we need to actually get in here without seeing the teleporter. That shouldn't be too big of an issue. I should be able to hide it right here, in fact. But you're going to be making a meat delivery, and so you're going to go over here, and then you're going to encounter this invisible wall here, and the mechanic will tell you that they're currently working on repairing the clock tower, and you can't go this way. You'll need to find another way. So that's kind of the only reason this whole area over here exists. I've gone ahead and added the NPCs here that are working on the clock tower, as you can see. I also added the merchant into the house over there. So there's a little shop over there. These are just building ambience for the town. And these echo blocks are to prevent you from going further this way, and to prevent the NPCs from doing something stupid and like walking off and falling. The reason we don't want people going this way is because there's this giant big square over here of void that we don't need anybody seeing. It's not really a part of the map in any way, and there's no point to seeing it. No, I don't live in Canada. I am an American. So the plan for this stream, we're going to be continuing it, the adventure map. Over here we have a lumber mill that we made. And then over here, we're going to do like a part of an area where the lumber mill has cleared out dead trees, and then we're going to start the forest. I don't know how far into the forest we're going to go, but I would like to get it started. And that's going to be the kind of the start of this adventure map. And if you guys are new to seeing this map, if you haven't been here in previous streams, the way that this adventure map is going to be unique is that it's actually done in the constant world seed. You see that I'm wearing a radio thing here. If I were to take that off, it goes to the Don't Starve vignette kind of appearance. So we're in the constant world seed, which means we have hunger. I should probably grab some food. Let's delights. We'll grab some of those. But the big feature of this adventure map is going to be darkness. Once you're in shadow and darkness, you start taking damage. It takes about 3 seconds for you to start taking damage. I could probably demonstrate that right down here. Take that off. We'll sit in here. So about 3 seconds after all the light goes away, it gets very dark. Maybe it's about 4 seconds. And then you start taking damage. I'm not taking damage because I'm in God mode. We're in Journey mode building this. But that is what the main feature of this adventure map is going to be based upon. So it doesn't matter that we have time locked and day. I'll allow people to play the adventure map in Journey mode. So yeah, they could cheat if they want to. But I mean, that's the case in any game, right? If it's a single player game, if people want to cheat, they're going to cheat. How long did I live in Japan? I lived there for 3 years. Am I going to add Easter eggs or honorable mentions? Probably some. I mean, I have Senex over here, because Senex had popped in during the last live stream while I was working on decorating the shop over here. So when she showed up, I ended up adding Senex's armor here. I'll probably add a bit more as we go. Hello. Over the past couple of months, the apartment that I live in has been going through a lot of renovations and repairs and stuff. It's been too loud to record. Not to mention, I live next to the mall. Right outside of my balcony, across the street, is a mall. And since it's summer, they've been having festivals and events that have been incredibly loud, preventing me from streaming and recording because, well, loud noises suck. So that's where I've been. The past month, though, like half of August, I've been working on a couple of really big videos. A couple I can't talk about, and the third one is actually a block tier, ranking every block in Terraria, which there are over 200 blocks in Terraria, so you can imagine how much work that video is. I just explained what kind of adventure map we're making, actually, so you might need to rewind it a little bit, but that it is. Alright, so we're going to start by creating the kind of carved out dead-end area with down trees, and let's see if we can make this look good. Let's grab some clay, dirt, grass. Wood, a living wood. Oh, you know what? We want living wood, leaf as well. And brown paint, some stone maybe. I'm not playing on Teen Mod Loader. This is completely vanilla 1.4.3. I'm doing well. Well enough. Thank you for asking. Alright, so I imagine this area would be very trampled and a lot of back and forth traffic, hauling heavy logs like this one over here to be cut like these ones over here, etc. So because of that, I don't imagine that there would be a lot of grass. I think it's going to be a good look to make this all filled with, well, dirt. I know it's clay, but when you paint the clay brown, it looks pretty similar to dirt. It makes it look like it's trampled and worn without letting the grass spread over it, which is kind of the more important part of this. Let's get rid of that worm before it becomes an issue. And this grasshopper. Can't have insects blocking the way. Okay, so I figure maybe about that far should be good enough for the downed tree area. Then I know a lumber mill would clear out a much larger area than that, but we don't need to go for pure realism, and we're going to just want players to get a little bit of ambience while they're walking through, make this feel like a lived-in village. So the forest will start somewhere around here. But before we get to the forest, let's go ahead and detail this area. Maybe plant a couple of trees and then chop them down to the base components. Let's see how that looks. Let's also try the fancier trees. These guys. So in order to do that, we're gonna need some grass underneath them, but if we paint it brown, it shouldn't take away from the look too much. And we'll put maybe one here. One over there. One over there. Maybe one right here. Supreme Bean, thank you so much for the $1. Hey Chaos, been watching for a while, love the content, keep it up. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. Alright, so let's do normal. Oh wait, I gotta actually plant the grass. That would help, wouldn't it? Once I have the stumps here, I'll remove some of the extra dirt. I just need that space for the tree to realize that it could grow. So let's do a normal one here. Let's do a sakura there, a willow there, and then a normal one here. And then once these trees have grown, we'll break them down to the stump and see how it looks. So let's unpause time. Looks like it's already going full speed. We can grab a bed to speed this up. I forgot about that last time. But maybe I won't need to. Let's go ahead and chop down the trees. I might just go with the sakura tree because I like that worn look, but we'll see how all of them look in the morning. I probably will not be doing a Calamity Death Mode playthrough because my enjoyment comes from building more than ridiculously over-the-top bullet hell boss fights. That said, I do plan on checking out Calamity someday. I just don't know that I would be at all interested in doing death mode, personally. Alright, let's see what this looks like here. Go away, leaves. Yeah. Actually, let's just do one more sakura tree right here, and then we'll call it good. Have a little bit of both. And I think one more tree here, maybe. Maybe you could use spooky wood as roots under the clay as a little bit of texture. Yeah, so the clay is flat right now. I will be texturizing it with more clay and stone, but the spooky wood's an interesting idea. However, I think maybe living mahogany painted brown might look a little bit more like a root system than spooky wood, because spooky wood's just one. It's just horizontal planks. I could absolutely not add rainbow brick to the sawmill. What is wrong with you? Ugh. You just bought Terraria for yourself? Enjoy. Hope you have fun. Love this game. There's lots and lots that you can do. Like, wait for trees to grow. I'm gonna want to paint that one. Alright, calm down, falling stars. Sheesh. Yeah, okay. I don't want to have like every inch of this filled with stumps, but I do like this. I wish there was some way to block swap under a tree and just get the dirt back here or remove the grass in some way, but it's not. Okay, so we're going to paint this, and let's clean up this ground a little bit. Then we'll add some texture underneath, experiment with roots and stuff. It used to be the case, and I don't know if it still is, I'll have to check into it, that, I'm not sure that I like these gaps now that I'm looking at it. I might end up just doing dirt and grass over the whole top, just painted brown. Maybe. I'm thinking about it, because I don't like the spaces in between. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna try that and see, because I don't think there's any way that I could blend it. I could try smooth marble. That's like the ultimate blending tool. Smooth marble blends with like everything, but I don't know that it would look all that amazing. Apparently everything but clay. Interesting. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and stick with dirt here instead of clay, and then we'll just add grass to it. There'll be a top layer of brown grass, no big deal. Not the end of the world. But we will definitely add some texture below it. The music gives you nostalgia from my old videos. Which is funny to think of, because I haven't really been doing YouTube for all that long, all things considered. Like, it's been a couple of years, but it's really not been very, very long. Now, do I leave it brown, or do I remove the brown? I'm tempted to leave it brown. I'll think on it. I'll leave like half of it brown and half of it green, or whatever. And I'll think about it. You guys can let me know what you guys think as well. I liked the small patches of brown grass. I didn't like the fact that I can't connect it. So Granted, this is going to be done in journey mode, so what I could do is just have dirt here. I need a slower pickaxe. Oh well. We could have dirt here like this in patches, right? And as long as time is frozen, it's not going to spread grass. And I'm going to recommend players play this with time frozen anyway. Just because I don't want people to end up getting nighttime here at the start and dying to the darkness of night. That's not the point of the adventure map. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll just tell people that they should... God, this pickaxe is way too fast. I'll tell people that they should just leave time frozen. This pickaxe is killing me right now, I swear to God. Fine. Fine, I see how it is, pickaxe. I do like the way that it looks like this better. It's a shame that the grass and the clay don't blend like the clay and the dirt do. But that's okay. We need more grass colors. Well, grass is very versatile with paint. As long as you're not using deep paint, grass will paint the grass itself without painting the dirt block below it. So you actually have quite a bit of options for your grass colors. Granted, we don't have like shades of brown, but we do have different shades of green. So we have grass color options. It's a pretty versatile block. I am on master mode, yes. Well, in journey mode. Yeah, see, I would only need the crappier pickaxe for just this section, which I'm already done with, so it's over. How did I unlock all blocks? I used a web-based character editor called Terraria. I could type that out. Let's see. It's Terraria, I believe, like that. That's the web-based character editor. When you do that with a 1.4 character, you can go into the research tab, unlock all researches with a simple click of the button, save it, and then import that into your player folder, and then you're good to go. Alright, let's add some stone and whatnot underneath. Hello! And then we'll also try the idea of roots. Let's grab living mahogany, rich mahogany, and I'll even look at spooky wood, which was the original suggestion. Spooky wood. Alright, let's start with the roots and see how I like that first, because I don't think they're gonna blend with the stone, so we'll want to do that first. Spooky wood's not bad. I like the lines, but I'm not a huge fan of how dark it is. Okay, I forgot that you don't blend with dirt. Bone, maybe? Bone block might look good. It might be a little bit lighter. You really don't blend with dirt either? Okay, learning things all the time. What I reckon the hardest block to make look good is rainbow brick. You can't paint it. I mean, you can paint it, but it doesn't change the rainbow effect. It stands out like a sore thumb, so unless you're making, like, a unicorn palace, it's not really gonna look good. Yes, I'm working on an adventure map. This is done in the constant world seed, and it's going to be an adventure map where you have to avoid shadows because they will kill you. Why does it say that I have a familiar wig when I have a spooky helmet? That's because I made a resource pack that turns the magma skull into the spooky helmet. You might think, wait, why would you need to do that? It sounds a little ridiculous. However, this allows me to do really unique things in 1.4 with the way that vanity sets work. So like say I want to wear steampunk goggles on top of wear steampunk goggles on top of this spooky wood helmet. Well, then I could do that. Like, right here. I have spooky wood goggles and... I mean, spooky wood helmet and the steampunk goggles. Cyborg. Same thing. Could do that. If it's Christmas and I want to wear a Santa's hat... Oops. Then I could do something like that. It allows me to keep the appearance of the spooky wood helmet while throwing masks, goggles, hats, stuff like that over the top of it, which I like. So that's why I'm wearing the familiar wig, so you don't see the ultra bright helmet. And the magma skull is a resource pack to give the spooky wood helmet a look. I don't know if I'd call it genius, but thank you. Alright, let's see. Back to the issue of roots. I'm not liking how dark this spooky wood is, but I can't think of any block that would blend with dirt that would look like a root system. So I think I might just go with some stone texture down here instead. We'll just kind of throw this around a little bit at random. In fact, I should probably do this over here as well, just so we have a bit of consistency. Consistency is always nice. Any walls that might make it look blended. So the issue, if I were to use walls in this scenario, is that the block of dirt right here would have the black outlines all around it, and that would just stand out like a sore thumb no matter what wall I use there. I don't know if hay would work. Let's see. Well, it does blend. Maybe a little bit. It even blends with the stone, which is nice. Like to know my opinions about the new items that are coming in the next update. I will give that opinion after the next update's out. Unless you ask me about specific items specifically, I'm not just going to go through the list off the top of my head. Other variant of stone, like darker one with the moss on the stone. I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, I could just add moss to the stone down there, but I don't know that it would look any good. What moss would look decent down there? Not many. That's way too dark. Can I just do that? No, I can't. Let's see. Yeah, because when it's completely underground like that and completely surrounded by blocks that it's blended with, it's just a circle of moss, and I'm not really a huge fan of it. I think I'll go with that. What's the opinion of the invisibility monolith thing? Well, when the whole debate around should we get rid of illuminant paint to add echo paint thing happened, I made a video talking about that. So I kind of was pushing for an echo paint of some variety in general. So I'm very happy that they've added it. So the problem with mudstone is I would probably want it painted, but if I do that, it blends kind of with the dirt and the paint. As you can see, it makes this square box around it. If I don't leave it painted, I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of that. It's not terrible. Maybe I could throw a few bricks of these in here just for some color variation. I prefer to have them painted, but that's gonna look uglier than leaving it unpainted, to me. I still don't know about that, actually. I feel like it's better without it. I do wish that whenever you paint a block, if it blends with the block next to it, like this, then I wish that the paint would only stick to the block that you're painting and not the block that it's blending with. And I feel like the logic for that already exists because, like I showed here, you could paint grass and only the grass colors change, not the dirt colors. So I feel like that's something that would be possible, but it also feels like it would be a pain in the butt for them to do, and I'm not going to ask for it because of that. You downloaded Tmod Loader, but it won't open. I haven't used Tmod Loader at all since it came out on Steam, so I honestly have no answer for that. Okay, let's add some background shrubbery. Adds a little bit more color to all of this brown. I might come in here and edit later and add some of the rock piles or things like that, the little decorative pieces. But we'll see. I'll think about that one. My favorite forest background is one that I can't seem to get on this world for some reason. This is one of my favorite ones, but I like the two with the lakes. The two lake ones are really nice. I also like the pine forest. The new pine forest one is really good. It'd be good if there was a deep gray paint, so normal paint would blend properly. It would be interesting. It'd also be interesting to see that happen with brown, but I think they're at their limit because Terraria is a 32-bit game and they have 32 different paints here. So in order to add more paints, the way that somebody explained it to me is they would have to add 32 more slots, which would impact the performance of the game. I'm not a coder, so I don't know for sure. That's just the way it was explained to me. Unmute. I'm talking. Can you guys not hear me? I am definitely not muted. Like, OBS is showing... You can hear. Okay. Good, 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 good. I don't know why somebody can't hear me, or a couple people said they couldn't hear. Alright, so we're going to start the forest over here. I'm not going to actually be building the forest itself. I think it'd be a better idea to build the forest around the parkour section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of my wings, get rid of the soaring insignia. Nothing else affects my movement here right now. Alright, so this is base movement. Let me decide if I want any starting accessories or anything real quick before we go on to actually starting this. So here are the potential tools that I wanted to add. Let's see. These are unrelated. You could ignore that. That's for the shadow creatures. I don't think I'm going to use the gravity globe. It's going to be hard to do because I'd have to make sure the area is completely boxed in. Maybe at the very, very end of the map. Everybody will be starting with the lucky horseshoe. So that's just going to be base. I don't want anybody to have to worry about falling damage. My opinion on negative paint is it has some very, very good uses. That is not something I'd want to start with. Maybe the machete, but that's not really going to help in the forest. Unless I do things like cobwebs that you could break. Maybe I will. So we'll hold on to the machete as a starting item over here. I don't think we should start with a cloud in the bottle or any of the bottles or the balloon. Maybe shoe spikes? I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Should we give shoe spikes from the start, or should we make them earn them? If I'm going to do secret passages, which I might do, the way that I'm going to do them is with the cracked dungeon brick. When they created cracked dungeon brick, I was still a beta tester, and originally they worked just like this. You know, you walk on them, and they break, right? And then you could break them with a pickaxe as well. But those were the only two ways that you could break them, or with a bomb. But I personally specifically requested that they can be broken with grenades. So this is the only block in the game that can be broken with a grenade. Like this. Which means, because grenades can't break anything else, when I made this request, I specifically did it for if I were to make an adventure map and I want secret areas, I will give players sticky grenades, and those sticky grenades will break cracked dungeon bricks. Yes, Mythical Water is my thumbnail artist. Though she's going to be taking the next month or two off from that, mostly because money is extremely tight for me right now and I can't afford to pay for custom thumbnails at the moment. I could, as you can see down here, I'm barely paying for bills and rent. So, favorite dungeon brick is the cracked versions of all three because of the reasons I just stated. Also, they have a really unique feature that they can toggle pressure plates, or teal pressure pads. So, I could show this real quick. It's kind of interesting. So if we have these down here, when you break these bricks, oh, I don't need to do that. I need to do this. Here we go. They drop a projectile that not only breaks more bricks, but can toggle these pressure pads, as you can see. It's really interesting. It's really unique. All right, thanks for stopping by. Have a good night. What do I think of a template world? I've been working one with variance blocks, blah, 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 blah. So I do think builder worlds, which have existed in the past, have been pretty useful, but since 1.4 has come out and journey mode, like I have everything here at my fingertips, less useful. Unless, of course, it's a non-journey mode world for non-journey mode characters. Then still somewhat useful. Personally, I've always used character editors instead. I could remove those wires later. It's not a big deal. They're not interfering with anything. Can you get hurt by them like you can with sand? I don't think it's the falling sand that hurts you. I think it's suffocation damage that hurts you. I could test it. I've never actually tested damage from these before. I don't think you get suffocated from them, though. So let's test this out and find out if we take damage. It's a good question. They do not hurt you. Just like falling sand doesn't hurt you, it's the suffocation that hurts you. Does the falling sand hurt you itself? I thought it was just suffocation. $50? Yeah, that's probably not suffocation. It's pretty high for suffocation. Let's see. Can I get myself suffocated? Probably. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know why. Maybe it was just an oversight, but the correct dungeon brick definitely doesn't hurt you. If you're wondering my character sounds like that when I take damage, it's because I'm on the constant world seed. What? Suffocation? Cheesy! What are you doing? Hi, Steph. Alright, back to the forest parkour. So this is going to be like entry-level stuff, and I don't want it to be too difficult. I'm still debating about the climbing claws, though. But let's see. Let's grab something that's going to stand out really, really sorely, but not impact our movement. So maybe slime block. And maybe some red paint. And then we could block swap all of these once we start building the forest around it. I just want to actually set up the whole parkour section. So we'll come into the forest, there'll be a couple of trees here, and then maybe the first obstacle around here. So maybe this is like a rock face that we have to jump over. And then this can be something that they can climb up like this. So if they fall down here, they can get back up onto it. And then we could have a jump, maybe up to here, and see how far I could jump. Pretty far on that. So maybe over here. Yeah, that's a pretty doable jump. Maybe one harder. I don't want it to be pixel perfect, but I don't want it to be laughably easy either. This one's starting to feel like maybe it's close to pixel perfect. Either that or I'm just not great at parkour. Maybe if I slope that. I think that'll do. So that'll be where we land. So maybe another cliff face here. We could have a couple of trees on it. So this area will have like a custom tree there, custom tree there. I do not have the soaring insignia on. It's currently just sitting over here. So my jump height is not... I don't think I'm wearing anything that should affect it. Pretty sure that's just how high players can jump. Hello, good morning. Your first live stream. Well, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I'm going to be providing ample amounts of food. I don't want food to be the main concern of this adventure map. I want the adventure map to be focused on things like surviving by avoiding darkness. So the food's going to be an afterthought. Of course, people are going to have to pay attention and make sure that they are adequately eating. Ooh, you know, it might be interesting to have this be like a small cave thing that if they fall, they walk through the cave to get through. That might look good. Yeah, so it's not a super easy jump, but it's also not super hard. Considering it's the first jump of the map, I don't think that's a big deal. Although I suck at parkour, so maybe it's a bad idea to build a parkour map. But we're here anyway. Yeah, I'm probably going to be building pine trees just because they match the background. I'm also considering maybe getting rid of these trees and adding pine trees or like the Christmas trees. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I don't like the Christmas trees for only one reason, or two reasons, I guess. They don't move in the wind, and they actually don't connect with the block below them. So if you, well, put one down like here, as you can see, anytime the grass dips down, let's zoom in here, you can see a little gap between the tree and the grass. That bothers me. You could hide that with walls and fences, but it's still a nitpick. My biggest concern is, oops, I pressed the wrong button. My biggest concern is that they don't move in the wind. But we'll see. Oh, this map will absolutely be in the Steam Workshop when it's done. Don't worry about that. It'll be freely available for everybody to download. Can I block swap under what, Cheesy? Okay, so maybe from here, since this little hill is going to be containing a couple of trees on it, maybe we could have an area where you have to climb the trees and then get across with some rope. Maybe we could have an area that kills you too, and we could introduce the checkpoint system early on. And this isn't a big walk from the start, but We could have like thorns and brambles down here, so if you fall into it, you'll end up dying. I don't know. I kind of don't want to do a checkpoint system until we get into the Shadow Realm, though. What happens if you lawnmower under the pine tree, then the grass will connect because it doesn't dip down, but I don't know if that will stand out sorely or not. Let's find out. I've never actually experimented with that one. I know there won't be a gap, but I don't know if it'll look right. I guess it's not terrible, to be honest. I kind of like the variance of texture. That's a good suggestion. I haven't thought of that one before. Thank you. Yeah, I do like that. But it doesn't fix the wind, unfortunately. Maybe not kill them right away, but hurt a little. So my only thought is, if I'm not going to do the checkpoint system in the starting forest, then there probably should be no way to die in the starting forest. The lore of this adventure is going to be you're a butcher. You're starting in this house over here in the village. You're going to make a delivery, but you find out that your way is blocked by the repairs on the clock tower. So you have to head into the forest to try to find another way around to make your delivery. But you end up falling into this deep hole in the forest, and it gets all dark and spooky and creepy, and I could just show that right here with the void monolith. Essentially, you're going to be taken by some shadow creatures, and they're going to take you to a shadow realm where you have to survive without getting into darkness. If you're in the shadow for more than 4 seconds, you're going to start taking damage. I'm going to be providing character saves so that if you take a single hit of shadow damage, you'll die. So you're going to have a custom amount of health. It's going to be 40 HP instead of, the base starting 100 HP, because the shadows do around 45-50 damage per hit. Maybe you shouldn't be watching so you can play it without spoilers. Too late! I am going to publish it to Steam, but my biggest concern about that is I don't know if there's a way that I could publish a zipped folder that has both a world and a character, and the resource pack. The resource pack is also going to be important for this adventure map, and I need to look into that. I haven't looked into that, but as we're just starting the whole parkour bit, it's kind of moot. It's a small detail. Okay, so from here, we're on this hill. I'm thinking, actually, let's do the rope bit later. We could do a jump here, then jump onto the tree, and then jump up. So let's do another cliff. I want to make sure this area is actually wide enough to fit like 2 custom pine trees on it. And then we'll have another cliff over here that you clearly can't get onto, that you will need to get up onto. So like over here. But a section of it you will be able to jump onto, because we're going to do like a 1 side, 2 side jump. Think we could reach that? Yeah. So then from here, we could jump onto the other end. Let's grab the ice right over here. We'll have a tree over here, maybe. That might be 1 too high. Ooh, you can make that. That's tight, but you can make it. So we could have that be a branch on the tree. And then from there, we should be able to jump onto the cliff. And then here would be a great section for having the rope climbing segment. So this cliff could go down here a little bit, have a couple trees on it as well. Again, this is a forest. I want it to actually be foresty. And then we'll do a segmented cliff so you can climb up it easily if you fall down. Again, all of this block placement is just temporary placeholder. I will be filling everything in, replacing it, and building the forest around this. It's just so that I could get the parkour built without any detail work. It's always, for me, it's always easier to build a parkour or any sort of adventure setting in a wireframe kind of thing first before you start adding detail. If you were to build a forest and then build a parkour around it, it would take, well, it would take me a lot more time than just doing something like this where I do a wireframe with mapping out the parkour and then detailing around it. Let's make that a little bit wider. 1 a.m. where you live. That definitely sounds like time for sleep. Well, thanks for stopping by. Have a good night. You've been watched? You need 30 Luminite ore. I'm confused. Oh, you're responding to somebody? Never mind. Russell de Guzman, thank you so much for another month of your membership. 8 months now. That's really generous of you. Thank you so much. How are you doing today? I am doing all right. Thank you so much for asking. I hope you're doing well yourself. I am not from Japan. I lived in Japan for 3 years, but I'm an American, born and raised in Texas, actually, though I don't currently live in Texas. I'd like to go back someday. I've got a lot of family there. I miss them. I see them every couple of years or so, but not as often as I would like. So this could be a nice big rope parkour area. Rope parkour is kind of like a touchy subject for some people in the adventure map making community for whatever reason. Like, some people have a really hard time with rope parkour. I don't find it to be too hard myself because I just, well, if you hold the directional keys without tapping them, you don't fall off the rope. It's not a big deal. Like, I see people grab a rope and then they let go of their, I guess, they let go of the D key to move right, and then they press it again and then they fall down. But if you were to just hold it the whole time, you don't have that problem. So we'll have different segments of rope around here. So, like, if I let go of my right movement right now and then I press right again, I'm going to fall off. And doing that and trying to jump from that is very difficult. But if I hold right the whole time, I will never fall off. And when I jump, I'll automatically jump to the right. So that's kind of like the solution to how do you parkour on a rope to people that struggle with it. Just don't let go of your movement keys. Unless you absolutely need to. Like, if I had you jump here and then you had to make a jump to the left, it's a lot harder because you have to jump and move at pretty much the same time. Otherwise, you're going to just end up jumping and moving late and not getting as much distance, or you're going to just fall off before you jump. Why is everything red? It's all placeholder. I just want it to stand out so it's easy for me to see. But I'll be building and detailing the forest around all of this once it's good to go, once I have the whole parkour set up. The reason it's all in red is so that way once I get to detailing, I don't miss any blocks, essentially. I have tried playing Terraria on mobile, and I'm not saying anything against people that enjoy it. It's definitely cool that people can play Terraria in whatever medium or device they like, but I like a keyboard and mouse. Terraria is just not the same for me without it. I wouldn't say that mobile sucks, it's just I find keyboard and mouse more useful. I don't know why he's not grabbing that. I'm holding up. I do have respect for people that build in mobile and on console. There are some really good builders, and I don't see how they have the patience for it, because I certainly would not. Okay, I'm gonna make that a little bit longer. Hey. Stupid auto select not doing what I want it to do. I have played on Terraria servers, but they've always been private servers, like Terracore, for example. Let's have a wall or a roof to these. So these are going to be like overhanging trees. So you're going to bonk your head on the top of these. So I need to make sure that you could get through this. It'd help if I actually jumped. Do I think Terraria is the best game to build with? I think it's definitely my favorite game to build with. But as far as best, I don't know. That depends. If you enjoy building in 3D, there are definitely plenty of options. Not just Minecraft, but things like Valheim are quite fun. In 2D, I have not seen a 2D building game that looks nearly as enjoyable as Terraria, though. I think that one's gonna have to be longer, yeah. That'll do. And then from here, there could be a little bit of a rock face that comes up from here. Like, we'll have background walls supporting it. And it could be something like this. I don't know. I'll make it look good when the time comes. I'm just, you know, laying things out. How do you comment with the custom emoji? You have to become a member. And once you've become a member of the channel, when you click the add reaction next to your comment, there's like a little emoji icon. Then you'll have all of the new emoji available to you, but they are only available to members. Yeah, Terracore music. Speaking of Terracore, we're hoping to do Terracore Season 2 and have it run longer. After 1.4.4 comes out, but it's going to take a little bit of time because we're not waiting for mods now. A lot of what 1.4.4 is bringing are things that we'd want to have made mods for in the first place, so that won't be necessary. But financially, the servers are not cheap to run, and I can't currently afford to run them. So there will be a break before Terraria Season 2, but it will happen when I can afford it. I think I might actually need that block there. Yeah, that's good. This is, well, I guess this is more than planning. It's mapping out the parkour, and then once the full parkour has been mapped out, then I will build the forest around it, detail it, and add all of the good-looking stuff. So it's somewhat planning, but also these blocks are going to be here in some way. I'll just be building around it and making it look good. So I don't know if planning is the right word. It's framework. Framework is probably a more accurate term. We could have another tree here that players have to climb up. Oh, I could have one of those really annoying jumps that I absolutely hate, but I mean, why not? I hate these jumps. Maybe I won't. I don't want to like make a map that I'm gonna hate testing. I do test all of my maps, and anytime I make an adventure map, and if I don't have fun with it, then I figure nobody's gonna have fun with it. So directly over is doable, but I don't really like it, so I don't think I'm gonna do it. That one might be impossible. I actually don't know if this one's possible. I don't think it is, so we'll get that. That's much more doable, but it's also much easier. Maybe this won't be so bad with... Oh yeah, I think as long as you have a little bit of platform to gain some speed on, that's not a terrible jump. And it's kind of forgiving too, because if you fall trying to make this jump, you're going to end up... Well, I mean, you could end up down there, which would suck, but that's only if you panic and start moving left and right there. But if you don't, you should end up on that platform. Or that platform. So I think it's fairly forgiving enough, but yeah, I think that's not too hard. I think we'll leave that there. And then from here, let's do a long jump and end up somewhere maybe down here. I don't know if I can make that length. Let's add more to it and see how far I make it. About there. I think that might be doable. I'll make sure that I can't make this jump because I don't want them to just bypass it, right? I don't think that's doable. So let's make sure this is doable. It is. Maybe even be able to do that. All right, have a good day at school. I forgot people are already going back to school this time of year. This area is not going to be dark. This is just the beginning of the map. You're not in the shadow realm or anything like that yet. I might even be able to go one block further. So this is going to be sunny, just forest stuff. And then once you go into, we're going to hit a point in the forest where you're going to fall and fall and fall. And there will be background walls that'll make it dark down there. And then once you're in the shadow realm, all of that's going to happen underground. So there won't be any sunlight. Everything will be artificially lit. It's going all right. Thanks for asking. I don't know if that jump is doable. I know one block to the left is. I'm trying to jump at the very edge, but I kind of suck at parkour, so. I don't think that's doable. That one is, for sure. Yeah. Alright. This is good for me. So this could be like the cliff on this side. Or maybe I will put it back down to where it was. And it'll have a tree on it. And these 3 bits, like this will have a tree here. And that'll be parts of the tree that you're climbing onto. And so will that. And this will be a part of the tree that you're getting onto on this side. Maybe. Think that'll look better. The Shadow Realm gives you a bit of Stranger Things vibes. I've heard good things about it, but honestly, I've never watched Stranger Things. I should someday. Like, I have friends that rant and rave about it, but I don't know anything about it personally. Oops. Don't want that. Alright, so let's go through it so far and see how easy or frustrating this is. Again, this is very beginning of the map. I don't need it to be incredibly hard. And then we're going to be adding utilities to change up how you parkour later, like movement abilities. That one's a bit of a hard jump, but you can get up through here. Fairly forgiving, not too difficult. Oh, I grabbed it, but momentum carried me down. Will there be any fake platforms? I could have an area that is made out of maybe cracked brick or something that are platforms that'll break if you go through it. Like if you make it through it the first time, it'll be easier, but the platforms can break while you're going, and the more they break, the harder it gets, but it wouldn't be impossible. As far as fake platforms in general, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I should get higher on that before I jump across. I think maybe the one that you fall into, that'll be the big fall before you end up in the Shadow Realm. Maybe that will be on top of a platform that like gives way below you. But I don't know. Scrambled eggs are worse than an omelet. I think that depends. If the scrambled eggs have been like filled with stuff that you would put in an omelet, I don't see a huge difference. Alright, Cheesy, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. I'll talk to you when you wake up. I am more focused on reading chat than actually parkouring this, and I'm not doing very well, am I? It'd help if I didn't bonk my head, though. Love you too, Cheesy. Bye. There's a texture difference between scrambled eggs and an omelet, so I wouldn't say they're the exact same. At least the way I make my omelets, they tend to be a slightly different texture than a scrambled egg would be. I've been streaming for an hour and 15 minutes now. We're going 3 hours total because after that I need to work on videos. You hate all eggs. I feel sorry for you. Eggs are amazing. My favorite eggs, however, are sunny side up. I love them over things like, why am I not making that jump all of a sudden? I love them over like sunny side egg on top of a piece of toast with a little bit of salsa and some spinach. That's like a favorite breakfast of mine. I also like eggs Benedict, though I don't have it often because hollandaise sauce is a pain in the butt to make. Ugh. finally make it to that second vine and I failed the third. I might need to make this a little bit easier. So my rule of thumb when it comes to adventure map testing is if I can't do it within 10 attempts, then it might be too hard to add it to the adventure map. I'd like the adventure map to be played by non-parkour masters, right? I'd like it to be generically open to the public. I don't want it to be too difficult. And if it takes me, who has built it, and I have most first-hand experience with it than anybody else, it takes me more than 10 attempts to do it, then it's going to take somebody who's never seen it even more attempts than that. Poached eggs are pretty good. Kind of a pain in the butt to make. I grabbed it, but I fell. But yeah, it's the runny yolk that I like. So poached eggs, sunny side up, over easy. They're all good. All right, yeah, we'll leave it like that. Cool. I can live with this. Eggs Benedict is usually made with a poached egg, unless you get somebody making it that doesn't know how to poach eggs. Then you'll see over easy, usually. Sunny side up's a little bit different because a lot of people are afraid to make sunny side up eggs because you only cook one side of it. Over easy, you know, you cook both sides, but you don't cook the yolk all the way. And I guess people are afraid of undercooking their whites, which I get, but you can make sunny side up without undercooking the whites. I could add different difficulty options with wiring and actuators. That's going far too detailed. Like, it's definitely possible. Absolutely. But I don't know if I want to put in the amount of work that it would take to do that, especially if I'm going to be doing like things like making it harder than this, which I know a lot of people would be able to do, but not me. I'm not great at parkour, and having to test it, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be able to get through some of the stuff that I know a lot of people would enjoy in a parkour map, for a hard parkour map. As a non-native English speaker and not an egg expert, you have no idea most of the stuff going on here. That's fair. What's the weirdest thing anyone's eaten with eggs? I don't know if I've ever had any weird egg dishes before. All of the egg dishes I've ever had just make sense. Instant noodles with egg isn't weird. Like, having lived in Japan for 3 years, you get ramen and egg all the time. They're very good. Or egg flour soup is good. And I don't know. Eggs in soup and ramen. I don't think that's weird at all. A waterfall section here. I have decided this will be, I'll grab waterfall to remind myself. I think it'd be fun to have to cross a waterfall over here. Maybe not that big. So we could do a big drop. It's a shame there aren't pistons or something similar, like a block moving actuator level thing. Because then I could have like falling logs here, like a callback to the old Lion King game from the 90s. And you have to climb the falling logs that are rolling down the waterfall. I don't think there's any way for me to do that and have it look good. How did you learn to build so good? Just practice, trial and error. My early builds were nowhere near as good as they are now, and I'm sure I'll be even better in a few years than I am now. Constantly learning things. Nobody's perfect overnight, unless you're I mean, prodigies learn faster, but I'm not a prodigy, and most people aren't. I could do something like a moving platform with actuators, but it would look ugly as sin. You are so good, you're never going to get better. That's definitely not true. There are better builders than me in the community by far. I definitely have room for improvement. I think everybody can improve their skill and trade. I don't think anybody's immune to the ability to learn and grow. I would need something over here to prevent people from just skipping that first fall. I would like that first fall to be mandatory. Or what I could do is have the waterfall here, but have a tree blocking the path here. And then like a tunnel down here that comes out right here. And then you're still able to make that jump. Never mind. Maybe ends back here somewhere. Yeah, I think that might do. So you're going under the tree instead of over here. That'll also look good. It'll add variation to the map. And then you could parkour across from here. That's a big jump, but doable. The slime is temporary, yes. I'm just doing like a wireframe of the parkour map, and then I'll be filling everything in and detailing it afterwards. For me, it's easier to actually make the puzzles and the parkour and the traps and everything first, and then detail it afterwards. If I were to build a forest and then try to make a parkour map out of the built forest, I would end up wasting a ton of time redoing landscaping, redoing trees, replacing blocks. It would just take forever. So this is the most efficient way to do it. That's a pretty big jump. I like it though. I don't want it to be super easy, but I have to think about what happens to you if you fall into the waterfall. So if you fall into the waterfall, you need to be able to get back up to this spot here. We won't have the flippers at this point in the game just yet. So what I could do is have a little cave opening over here. So you get a little bit of a setback for falling into the waterfall, but nothing too punishing. Again, this is the very beginning of the map. We don't need to make people pull their teeth out over it. So you could parkour back up here through the small cave, have access to that jump again, and then do it all over again when you fail. You'll be in water, so you won't be able to jump up to this. Also, this will be lowered. Eat. 450 fire imps without getting an obsidian rose. I think in Terracore we had something like that happen. We set up a way of getting really fast imp kills with the statue and traps and stuff, and it still took us, I think it was either Heis or it was Dante who took a very long time getting the rose, and then some people like Blue just got it instantly. What are we building? We are working on an adventure map. I'm just doing a wireframe for a parkour section. So this is all of the area that we'll be parkouring through. It's going to eventually be a forest. Right now it's just kind of a mess of red slime blocks. But that's because I find it easier to detail after I've laid out the parkour. So they'll be coming on top of this like fallen log or cliff over here, jumping onto this cliff, climbing a tree onto this cliff, climbing across a couple of trees over here. Then they'll be coming down to this area, going across the waterfall. If they fall in, then they'll be able to get up here to reattempt it. That's kind of where the parkour is at the moment. I just want to make things somewhat challenging, not too easy, not too hard. I don't want this to be like the hardest parkour map in the world. But I also don't want it to be just a walk through the park easy either. I wonder how far I could overhang and still make the jump. That might be doable. Not if I can't jump though. Yeah, that's doable. But is it frustratingly difficult to do? I don't think it will be. Of course, it's going to be a little bit more unforgiving here, because if you fall in, you fall into the water and you have to go all the way back here. Granted, it's only one easy jump and 2 hard jumps. I think that's fair enough. I think I'll leave it for now. I don't know if it'll stay that way forever. I should also remind myself that some things like this will be blocked off. I don't know if Relogic is going to make a Terraria 2 or not, but I do know that that Red has said on numerous occasions that he would like to make a Terraria 2. So I know it's a goal of theirs, but I can't look into the future and say that they'll actually do it or not. I also know that they have said repeatedly that their next game is going to be a different IP, and then they'll see what happens from there. So I wouldn't expect their next game to be Terraria 2, as much as I personally would love it. I hope they make their next game Terraria 2. I don't think it's going to happen. Terraria 2, a first-person shooter. Don't know how I'd feel about that one. I mean, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I was not very excited for Terraria Otherworld. Now, I know that wasn't being made directly by Relogic. It was being made by a third-party studio. But still, nonetheless, I was not very excited for that particular game. There were some things about it that I liked. I liked the way that the ocean looked underwater a lot. I think it looked very, very nice. I was not a huge fan of the art style, though. And the whole tower defense aspect of it just didn't sound all that appealing to me. This might be a little too unforgiving. I'm not sure. It's 2 hard jumps, one after the other. So it's twice as likely that you're going to fall in without quick checkpoint system. I think I might need more space, more speed, or just fall off without jumping entirely. If this were programmed, I know this is weird, but if this were programmed more like a Mario game, then you could actually walk off a block and still jump, just as long as it's a split second after you've walked off. Terraria is not like that, however. You have to be on top of the block to jump, so you can't just like walk off and get a last second jump. You have to do a jump while your feet are still in collision with the hitbox, which makes sense, but it also makes parkour a little bit harder than other 2D parkour games like Mario. Okay, this is actually kind of frustrating me, so maybe I will tone it down. I know it's doable, I've done it, but it's a lot harder than this jump was. That I need more space in that? I don't think so. I don't think more space will change anything there. Yeah, I agree that it's something that programmers do to make the jumps feel more natural, and it makes it much easier too. Like, that's the first time I got up there. I think that's a little too hard. I might knock that one back. Yeah. But now it's easy. I don't want it easy, but I don't want it frustrating either. I think that's a little bit harder. Practically Prince, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Hope this helps. Keep up the good work. Much love from South Africa. I really do appreciate it. It does help. Every little bit helps. Thank you so much for your support. Alright, I'm gonna leave it like this. Or, I don't know. If I could do it 10 out of 10 times, it might be too easy. I think it's too easy. Yeah, this is gonna be too easy. Yeah, I know it should be easier at the start and gets harder as we go. I agree with that sentiment. That might be a good solution to it. I do agree with that sentiment. However, there are going to be things in the later parts of the map that will make it harder. Like there's going to be climbing claws and dashing and stuff like that. And then shadows will also help make this harder. What song is this? This is called Misty by Slink. It's in the YouTube audio library. All of the music that I use is from the YouTube audio library. I think I could live with this. There, limit the amount of speed that you can get with that block there, and it makes it a little bit harder. Yeah, I like that more. Okay, we're gonna keep that. And then, I don't know, this is just the beginning parkour to get you into the Shadow Realm. I think that might be long enough for it. I think we can go into the drop from there. So, one jump to here. 2. Guess I don't really need to go through it again, but 3, 4. Ah. I think that might be one of the hardest parts, but I'm gonna leave it because it's gonna look nice and it'll be a little bit of a challenge. Do I work with Relogic? I mean, define work with them. I'm not an employee with Relogic. I don't work for them. They don't pay me. But they do occasionally ask me for feedback, and I provide it. And I've been a beta tester in the past. So some things I've done with them or for them. Like I made the Terraria 1.4 trailer with Chippy. But we did get paid for that one, though. But no, I'm not a Relogic employee. Forgot that we have this jump here that's harder, but it's a lot more forgiving if you mess up. So I'm okay with having that harder jump here. There we go. Yeah, I think this will be good enough for the parkour section. So this will be the waterfall. And then we're going to have an area where you fall into the shadow realm. And I want to make this... I mean, you guys are all getting spoilers by watching this, but whatever, you're here. I want to make this kind of unexpected. So make it look like they're trying to get across to, like, over here. But actually make it not possible. Or the ground gives way or something. Like they're going to make a jump. I don't know if I could do this. What I would like to do is have a section in the middle that's made out of cracked brick. That they have to land on, and when they land on it, it breaks. And I don't think there's any way I can guarantee that that happens. So, as much as I would like that to happen, I don't think I can force it to happen. Because it requires you to move pretty quickly for them to actually break. Never thought about building until you saw this channel. Well, I'm glad I'm getting you into the idea of building, because it's quite fun. You can do quite a bit of things. And in fact, I would love if you guys make adventure maps, hop on Twitter. My tag on Twitter is @Terrarian and you just send me a link to your adventure map. I'd love to check out what you guys make. Maybe if the jump is fast enough, that could happen. Let's try that. We'll do a temporary block on, I don't know, that end, so we could build off of it easily. If I'm moving quick enough, will it break every time? Maybe. Maybe. I think... Okay, what I need to test now is, can I jump from here to there? I think it's gonna break before I could actually make that jump. If so, this will be perfect. I don't think I could... Yeah, I don't know. I should put a background wall here. That would help me with placing this every time it breaks. If I could jump before it breaks, then this idea is not going to work. But if I can't, it's going to work perfectly. Play No Man's Sky on the other channel. I might do that someday. I kind of have... I don't know. It kind of goes against my personal policy. Like, if a game comes out with a really bad, like, No Man's Sky lied in their marketing, they misled customers, they didn't deliver the product that they promised. You can jump before it falls. I don't know. This still might be a good idea, though. You know what? You know what? Maybe I will reward players that do it. So this will be the way down, right? But if you get across without falling through, then there could be a secret and a reward. Thin ice would work, but it wouldn't look like, it wouldn't fit the map. It wouldn't look right. And that's hard to do. It is not easy to get a jump from there. So I feel like if you do, bonus reward. I feel like that's a good idea, honestly. But as I was saying, with games like No Man's Sky or things like that where they clearly know that they're not delivering the product that they're promising, they're misleading customers, lying about it. I don't care if they make the game better in the future. It's kind of a scummy thing to do. Like, I love CD Projekt Red, right? I loved The Witcher 2. I loved The Witcher 3 even more. All of the DLC is amazing. I will never play Cyberpunk because they tarnished that reputation out the door. I'll be hesitant to play any Cyberpunk sequel that ever comes out if they do, for the same reasons. So that's kind of how I feel about No Man's Sky. Like, I was really excited for No Man's Sky at the beginning. Then all of that stuff happened, and I'm like, yeah, no. And I know it's better than it was, but that's kind of the point, right? Like, if you support these companies by pre-ordering their games, by paying for the games, they under-deliver, and then they fix it later, and they're like, okay, well, we fixed it later, and you're like, okay, I forgive you, it's fixed. Then you're just encouraging them to release broken, buggy, under-delivered, unpromised games on the hopes that they could fix it later, but then they might not fix it later because they've already made their millions of dollars, and what do they care, right? So that's kind of my policy on that. I like this idea. This will be a bonus area over here. You won't be able to go any further. You'll be forced to backtrack, but there will be a bonus reward for anybody that makes that. You guys will have the advantage of knowing that this is an option. Okay, I like this idea. I am currently working on an adventure map, doing the parkour section of it, just laying out wiring, not wiring, but like the wireframe of the parkour before I go through and start detailing everything. But the adventure map, we've got the starting area, starting town going. And not much else, but I mean, I could give you guys a look at what we've got. I think it's pretty detailed. It's looking nice. Skyrim 23rd Anniversary Edition. Yeah, I stopped buying Skyrim. I bought 2 copies of Skyrim. The original one and then one of their special edition releases. But Bethesda's done nothing but release the same game for over the past, more than the past decade. So, Oh, other than Fallout 70 crap, which I will never support because of the same reason as why I don't want to support No Man's Sky. I don't want to encourage Bethesda to make another Fallout 70 crap and release it in that state. I don't want them to do that to the next Elder Scrolls game, right? Or the next Fallout game, or whatever IP they end up making. So I'm not going to support them even if they fix it later. Like Todd Howard, one of the top CEOs over at Bethesda, was like, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. That's bull crap. First impressions matter. If your game is garbage out the door and you just say you're going to fix it later, I'm not giving you my money. But that's just my opinion. If you guys want to play it, feel free to. You know what I wish? I don't think it does it. It wouldn't really apply to this adventure map anyway. But I wish that conveyor belts I don't think they do. Maybe they do. Give you forward momentum on your jumps. No, yeah, you see the second you leave the ground, your movement speed gets killed. I could probably even show that with my... Where is it? Movement speed. There we go. GPS. So once we're on there... Actually, it doesn't even read my movement on the conveyor belt, does it? No, it says I'm 0, so I can't even see what the conveyor belt adds to it. Never mind. I can't show that on GPS. But I would love for that to just carry your momentum forward like it would in real life. And just, you basically have a boost pad. Or if it's the opposite direction, that kills your forward momentum jumping when you're running against the conveyor belt. It would be so good. It would be so good if Relogic did that. But I think that would have to change their entire movement physics, and I don't see it ever happening. You think you could do that while holding the portal gun? I think that only affects your downwards momentum, doesn't it? Or well, the longer you're falling, the faster you go with the portal gun. So I don't think that this is considered falling, and I don't think that that would add any speed to your momentum. Maybe it does carry through, but I don't see why it would. I imagine it wouldn't. So yeah, I'm holding a portal gun, and the second I jump, my momentum's still killed, because the speed that you build up from the portal gun comes from falling. It doesn't come from running. So you have to fall in order to go faster with the portal gun, unfortunately. If you could choose a Terraria crossover update, what would you choose? That depends on how much say I have over the crossover. Like, if I could pick a crossover and I could say what I want in that crossover, like what I would take from each game, then I would probably say something like Stardew Valley would be amazing, and then have a complete villager overhaul in Terraria, and introduce things like relationships and gift giving and just stuff like that into the villagers system from Stardew Valley. I think that would be amazing. Farming mechanics would also be quite interesting. But if I were to just say, oh, I want to cross over with Stardew Valley, and all they do is add a bunch of, like, pets and stuff from Stardew Valley, I would be a lot less interested. And if we were going to do something like that, and I have no say over the mechanics that they're bringing, and it's most likely just going to be visual references or maybe a boss or two from another game, I think that crossover would be better suited for something like Minecraft. It would be interesting to see things like the Ender Dragon in Terraria, or Enderman, or creepers, or ghasts, or stuff like that. But if I had my way over the crossover, it would be a complete villager overhaul and crossover with Stardew Valley. Yeah, I heard that the Chinese version of Terraria has the KFC crossover thing. That's kind of hilarious. But I'm not in China. Quite frankly, that's okay with me. What was with that lag? That was weird. Okay, so let's... I don't want anybody to get, like, caught on the fall down. But I also want to, like, limit where they fall. You know what? I could actually have pockets and make this look like something like this, but have echo walls along the way that prevent them from actually landing on these little pockets. Because I want them to fall all the way down. Let's see how far they have to go before we get to background wall action. I don't just mean like the placed version. I guess I could just do placed version. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, we're pretty high up on the surface. All the way down to here. I mean, that could be a pretty cool fall. To have it be that long. It's just like, what is going on? Yeah, I actually like that. I think this was going to be how far down it goes. Yeah, we're going with it. Suddenly journey to the center of the earth. Yeah, something like that. Also, I would like the, kind of like the, I don't know, hidden theme, I guess, of this adventure map. So, your character is going to be, like, taken into the Shadow Realm and you have to escape and all that, right? But I would like there to be hidden underlying themes. Because when you get out of the Shadow Realm at the end of the adventure map, you're going to walk into this area that's nothing but white light. So I kind of want to imply that your character is actually died and you're traveling through, like, the stages of the afterlife or something of some sort. Like, you're going through purgatory or something and you have to make your way into the light or whatever implications you want to take from that, but that your character actually dies from this entire ordeal and not just is perfectly a-okay. Yeah, it is tragic, but I think it's interesting to have themes like that. I think a Hollow Knight crossover could be interesting as well. I haven't played it, but I have seen it played. I do think it could be interesting, but I'd want to see, like I mentioned here, how difficult parkour is in Terraria. I'd like to see improvements to the parkour and movement capabilities in Terraria if that was going to be the crossover, if it was going to be Hollow Knight, because movement is amazing in Hollow Knight, and I feel like the best thing that Terraria could take from that is movements, more than just enemies or bosses. Though they would look quite cool in the game too. It would bring a lot of life to underground, maybe even new biome. Yeah, you can't keep all heroes alive at all times. What if the final jump into darkness looked like a parkour jump, but it's either too long or something blocks your path to surprise the player? I mean, we kind of have that in the beginning, so it might be interesting to do a call to that at the end. But I'm not sure. I haven't thought about how the end is going to be made just yet. I'm not quite to that level in my head yet. If they were to add parkour to things like dungeons, then they could no longer be naturally generated dungeons. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think Terraria could benefit from having structures that are designed by developers, and they're the same in every single world, every single time. I think it could be extremely useful to have one or two of those. I don't know that they're interested in doing it, but if they do, and if you're watching this, Relogic, I would take a job to design those for you. But I do think it would be good. I don't think it would work so well if it was just randomly generated, though. Kuro, welcome to the members. Thank you so much for that. Welcome, welcome. For anybody that does become a member today, if you have a Discord account, be sure to link your Discord with your YouTube, and then you will automatically be invited to and join my private Discord server for Patreon supporters and YouTube members. Apparently Cheesy clipped something. I'm gonna have to watch it later. I'm curious what she clipped. Yeah, the more I do this, the more I like the idea of having a little bonus reward over here for making this incredibly difficult. Well, I don't know how incredibly it is. It's like perfect timing right as you, yeah, like that. Right as you land, you jump before those blocks can break. And then this will be maybe like that, so they have to jump. And this will be a cliff that leads to this. I'm also thinking about having this like open up the world, right? In a sense. So let me see if I can explain this. Let's grab green. So have like a fake ground like this right here. So if you were to come down here, you obviously can't jump up there. I'll make a path to get up, like maybe even just like this. It doesn't need to be much. But you have to do that. And when you break these, then the whole floor opens up. How could I do that and make it look good? I would like something that actually falls. I don't think this works because I didn't request it at the time when they were working on the cracked bricks, but I'm curious and I want to test it. So let's grab a landmine. And maybe they thought of this before I did and they just added it in. I don't know. But if a landmine can break these, then I could break them on a wiring command. So if I put that in there, let's grab a switch. I hope this works, but I really don't think it's going to. Fingers crossed. And it doesn't work. Damn. If that would have acted like a grenade and it breaks these, then I could have like a stone floor that just crumbles below you. But no. Let's see. What else? What else? It's not a jungle. It's going to be more of a... Well, it's going to be a pine forest, but there's going to be maybe some trees that have vines, or these will be hanging off of rocks. I'm undecided, but there are some vine parkour here. I don't think it needs to be too... What? That jump is doable. I did not think that jump was doable, but apparently at the right speed, that is. Hold on. I gotta fix that. That needs to be one block higher. But since it's going to be a mostly pine forest, I don't think a whole lot of vines will fit in. Get some of the stuff that I don't need out of here. I think this jump is still doable, but I have to check it now. Maybe it's not. Okay, so how fix? Let's see. Maybe like this. That's doable. That's no longer doable. Okay. Ah, we have a bot. Thank you for letting me know. I will go ahead and get rid of them. This has been an issue over the past few weeks, unfortunately. And they keep coming back. both channels. It's not just me. I know other YouTubers have had the same issue. Same bot. Normally, I block stuff like that by banning things like URLs. So they can't type a link, or they can't even spell out .com or .org or anything like that. All of that gets automatically blocked. But the bot creators have gotten smart and realized, oh, we could just write the freaking website name in our bot's username, and there's no way for us to moderate or block that. YouTube should definitely add the means of blocking certain usernames from appearing. Maybe it'll not shadow ban them or anything, but maybe it will just show their name as something else or something. I don't know. There's not really any protections in place for people that have usernames that have websites in them, unfortunately. Hey, Dante. If you report it, it clears the messages for you, not for everybody. And unfortunately, these people create a new bot like every couple of hours. So it's not really something we could fix. YouTube has to fix that problem. Well, it's not really a huge security oversight. It's not Google's job to make sure that people don't go to shady websites. But unfortunately, a lot of people are not very bright, and they end up going to these shady websites. Don't do that. If you see people linking you to websites and you don't trust this person and you don't trust the website, don't click on it. Now, I need to test if I were to do something like that you will actually fall through all of it. I don't know if it will. I think I need to make this thin. I don't know. There was an opportunity there that I could have jumped, but it was small. I think as long as it's thin at the area where I'm landing, it'll be fine. I think all I need to do is make sure that I'm landing in an area, like mark off the best place to land. Right there. Wrestle de Guzman, thank you for the $10. Gotta go now. Sleepy time. Have a great rest of the stream. Well, thank you for stopping by and for the support. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a great night yourself. Yeah, actually, the reason why I'm streaming at this time is because I'd like to give opportunities for some of my viewers in Europe to watch, and then my other streams at my normal late afternoon time are more aligned for my viewers in Asia and the United States to watch. Yeah, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's essentially the thing with clicking links. I think the problem becomes where you have like children who haven't been educated about the risks of clicking on these links, and then suddenly they lose their YouTube account. Which is, by the way, how a lot of these bots operate. They steal YouTube accounts and turn them into more bots. The problem with that, well, I mean, there is an age restriction on YouTube. It's you have to be 13 to use YouTube, but unfortunately, it seems not everybody follows that rule. Looking at channels like, I don't know, Coco Melon, that are clearly something that should be on YouTube Kids, but they're not, and I don't know why. Because it entices people under 13 to watch on the main platform, and then they're exposed to dangers like that they might not even understand. Or maybe they do and just don't care, I don't know. Or old people that don't know any better. Yeah, but it's harder to, like, it's harder to protect elderly people from stuff like that than it is children. Because you can't, like, you could say you're too young for something like this, right? Reasonably. But I don't think you can as reasonably say to somebody you're too old for something, because there are plenty of tech-savvy elderly people, and plenty of elderly people that aren't prone to being manipulated or preyed upon. That said, my great-grandfather fell for one of those Jamaican scams, and he sent like $100,000 to people and lost that money forever. So I know that it happens, and it's happened to people that I know and loved and cared about. I mean, he's no longer with us. He passed away like 6 years ago. But still, the fact remains. But it's harder to protect those groups from the online threats without restricting their rights and their freedoms. I don't think it's wrong to do it to anybody. I disagree with that. I think that children are not fully mentally developed well enough to understand when they're being preyed upon. As a group, children need to be protected. And I do believe that our elders need to be protected as well. But that's a harder case because some elderly people have their faculties more than others do, right? So that's why I think it's harder to restrict what those people can do than it is children. Absolutely, I believe that not every child knows what they want if they think they want it. Like, my ex-wife's niece and nephews would have loved to eat marshmallows and candy for breakfast every single day. They don't know that it's bad for them, even when you tell them it's bad for them, right? I do think our children are more vulnerable than any other section of the community and should be protected. But that's my opinion, and I'm not a lawmaker, and so I don't have any real say in that matter. The mighty chaos, definitely not mighty. The mediocre, perhaps? Okay, so let's start thinking about detailing. Starting with this pit, I want to think about how to make it fall out from under you. Maybe... You said no out loud when you heard me call myself mediocre. Silt might look okay. And then when it falls, I mean, I might even make it look like it's dirt, kind of. I might be able to make it look like it's dirt. Maybe I just won't have a fake ground at all. I don't want to make it look like it's an obvious, this is where you're going to have to go. That's a giant path to nothing down there. I'd like it to be sprung upon them without just actuating blocks. What is my vanity set? I'm wearing a spooky helm, but it's done through a resource pack, and it's currently a magma skull. But that's just the spooky helm by design. If you want to know why, I explained it a little earlier, but I don't know if you were here. But I also wear the Vortex breastplate for the chest, and the cape and the leggings both come from Jim's leggings. I tend to go with Jim's wings for the wings. I usually use Uriser's spell, but I took one off for a reason, which I'll talk about later. It was for another video that I'm working on. And I forgot to put it back on. But I usually wear a Uriser's spell, which gives an eye glow. There. And then to get that glow, you change the color of that. Green and black dye. You put that in the pet slot, and then you have a glowing eye. And that's pretty much the full vanity set for the default. I've actually got a whole world of different vanity sets though. What if you blow up the ground with timers and explosives? My biggest concern with that, it's a two-part concern. I'd like to have something that doesn't physically drop items. So when you blow up a ground, the blocks will drop behind it. I don't want to flood players' inventories with those blocks. But also, if it's done on a timer sequence of any sort, and they make this jump, and then they land here, like say they hit that and then land and it doesn't time correctly, then the explosion kills them. It's a couple of reasons why I wouldn't want to do that one. I did think about that, and I do think it's a good idea, but it's not quite what I want. Can you place pressure pads on the cracked brick? Yes, you can. So I actually plan on having that brick right here be the trigger by having a pressure plate. However, I'm not going to do a pressure plate on top of it, because when that breaks, it would be picked up by the player. What I'm going to do is teleporter glitch. Let me grab teleporters. I should be able to do this. I haven't tested it, so I don't know for sure, but I think it's entirely possible. So teleporter glitch, a teal pressure pad. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, I'll do it through T-Edit. Anyway, I'll use T-Edit to make this pressure pad float in midair right here. And when that brick breaks, it'll fall through it and it'll trigger it. So that's what's going to create the ground breaking below. It'll be this brick cracking and falling. I don't think there's any way to over jump that brick. You always hit that brick. So that's how that will happen. But opening up the floor, I don't want to have a bunch of items break and flood their inventory. Especially a pressure plate. Like if I put a pressure plate on top of here and have that be the trigger, when it breaks and they grab the pressure plate, then they could use that pressure plate to see wiring throughout the map, which could be very immersion breaking. So I definitely want to avoid that happening. Interesting that the teleporter glitch doesn't work on pressure plates. I had assumed that it would. I've never had the reason to try it before. There is a pressure plate that breaks when you step on it. That's a good point. I forgot about that. It's the orange pressure plate, right? Is it orange? Yeah, it is. That's a very good point. Thank you for reminding me about that. I could just use that and make that a lot easier. Good point. Thank you. But still need to think about the floor. So we'll put that there so I'm reminding myself. I'll paint it green so I could actually see it. And you know what? I'll even put a little bit of wire on here, so extra reminder. There we go. Actuators. So my problem is I want it to make it look like the floor is crumbled out below them, right? And if I use actuators, then it'll just look like the floor is just moved into the background. It'll still be there. It'll just be darker. Explosions would work if not for the items dropping. There is a way that I could delete those items, but it's a pain in the butt. I've done it before, but what you do is you make an entire... Well, I guess I've never shown this before, so if anybody's curious about how to make an item deleter, I could show you real quick. Maybe it'll be useful in your own adventure maps. I used it in my golf adventure map, but it doesn't work in multiplayer because I didn't fully understand how multiplayer item breaking works. But you need a long platform, and then it would have to be even longer than this, but you grab some minecart rails. This is just an example. And you run these along a block. And then you're going to grab sand, you're going to grab slush, and you're going to grab silt. And I think I already have silt. And what you'll do is you'll have another row of blocks with actuators on top of that, like this. Even if I make them carry the encumbering stone, which I don't want to do because I'm probably going to be using large gems. And large gems will pop into your inventory. And I don't think you could pick up a large gem while you're carrying an encumbering stone. So I don't want to do that. But for this, if you alternate sand, then slush, then silt, in whatever order, just make sure they're alternating. Then when you actuate this line, this would be somewhere off camera. It could be anywhere in the world, really. Off camera. As long as you have a few hundred of these blocks, when you actuate these, which can be done via wiring, then they will fall and break into items on the minecarts, and the items will just be sitting there. The reason why we alternate these is because if I were to break, I was too close to actually show that before, but if we go like this, and I get a little bit further away, and we break these, then you see they don't get close enough to stack. And there's a slush over there, sand, sand, dirt, silt, silt, right? They don't stack into one item, meaning these each count individually as an item towards the item limit. You do a few hundred of those, and they will delete any items that are currently sitting on the floor. It's a one-time use, you can't reload it. It's also a pain in the butt setup, much easier with T-Edit. But there is a way to delete items. It's not ideal. That is the real Dante, yes. What state do I live in? I'm currently living in Washington State, but I would not mind moving eventually. So there you guys go. Item deletion, if you want it for whatever reason. It gets a little bit more complicated with multiplayer because the number of players will change the number of items before it gets deleted, and I don't know the exact numbers. Why do I want to move? Various different reasons that are all personal. But I mean, lots of things, like I don't like the constant rain or the dry summers, or really hot summers, and I don't know. I'm picky. I'd like to live somewhere where it snows more often in the winter. That's not very snowy in the area of Washington that I live in the winter. We get like 1-2 days of snow a year, maybe. But there's other reasons, like more than environmental. I don't want to live in or near a city. I don't like cities, high crime, expensive cost of living, stuff like that. But I want to live somewhere that's got good internet. Oh, I would love Florida if not for the humidity. I don't mind heat, but I hate humidity and heat. That's what sucks about this place in the summer. It doesn't get very hot here. Like, the hottest day that we had this summer was 96 Fahrenheit. It's not super hot. I've been in 110 degrees and felt fine. But the issue is it was 96 degrees with 100% or 90% humidity. It was absolutely horrible. I hate the heat and the humidity. Like, I loved living in Okinawa, Japan, but summers were miserable. And spring and summer and early autumn were miserable because of the heat combined with the humidity. So that's why I wouldn't like Florida. But areas like Arizona or Texas where it's hot but not humid and hot, I would be perfectly fine. I'm perfectly fine with a low humidity heat. Massachusetts, yeah, definitely has some nice wooded areas out there. I'd like to live in the woods too, for the scenery and the quiet. That's why I hate the city too. Besides the crime rates, it's quiet. Um, Outside of the city, it's so loud in the city, but internet gets really spotty out there too. So I gotta like, I'm probably gonna end up living in some suburb area, but currently I'm living in a small city next to a big city, and I hate it. Like, uh, I've had gas siphoned from my car or earlier this month actually. They came into the apartment complex and siphoned gas from several of the cars at the back of the complex where I park. And my car had about $50 worth of gas stolen. That would never happen if I didn't live in a city. I don't know. I don't like city living. And I'm not nearly outgoing and social enough to like the city nightlife or anything. I don't care if there are bars, clubs, things to go out and hang out. Like, I don't know. The things that I like to do are, I like to go out to a beach, hang out on the beach. I like to go hiking. Um, Things that are quiet and peaceful. That's what I like to go out and do, not loud and rowdy. So I don't need to live near a city. There are zero benefits for me other than high-speed internet. Where I gonna face reveal if the plushie sales were reached? In the last plushie sale, I did offer that, but we didn't hit the 400 mark, so I did not. I don't know if I will do that for the next plushie sale or not. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Why do people waste their time doing that? Because it's free gasoline, and gasoline is expensive right now. Let's see. If I fell from any, like, I can guarantee that this breaks because of my horizontal momentum, but can I guarantee that these break from a vertical momentum? I don't know. Let's see. Let's find out. I guess specifically this momentum. No. Does it break from any vertical momentum? It does, but it requires a pretty long fall. So if I were to do something like this to, like, fracture the ground below, it'd probably have to be from, like, that height. No, even that. Wow. How do you get cracked brick? I believe you craft it using dungeon brick at a heavy workbench while in a graveyard mini biome. I might have had upward momentum. Like, I might not have done that from a free fall. Yeah, I think I was still moving like this. I don't know. It's not breaking anymore from a fall. Yeah. I don't know why. They broke one time. I think it is purely horizontal momentum that'll break these. Well, I could do something else. I don't know. I just don't like the idea of actuators. I could just have it be a cliff and make it look like they don't want to go down there. I don't know. Maybe that's the solution. I don't know who Saber Spark is, so I don't know if I look like them or not. Let's see. I'm gonna Google. I need to see. No. I don't think I look like him at all. Explosives and cracked bricks. Maybe. Like I said, there were two concerns that I had with the explosions. And that was the items dropping, which the cracked bricks would fix, but the second one is accidentally killing a player with the explosion. Not to mention it would kind of just sound out of place to have a big boom. You know what? No, it wouldn't, because I'm using a resource pack that changes that particular sound. Hold on, let me test this, because I need to actually put that on top of a block. Let's hop out of here. Let's go to the workshop resource pack. Let's turn on this resource pack that I'm using. Go back in. Teach you how to make the Game Boy animations from the end of Season 1 of Terraria. That's Dante's creation, not mine. And I get the premise of how it's done, but I don't know for certain how he did it. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what I'm testing, I should just go ahead and show you. I made a resource pack that changes the sound effects of certain things in the game that will be more ambient and fitting for this adventure map. For example, I changed a couple of the songs. The vanilla overworld song is now just pure silence. And then one of the other overworld songs is now a heartbeat. So let's pause music and I could just show these to you. Let's turn music on. So if I turn this on, you'll see that things get quiet. And now we have pure silence, even though music is turned on, just because of that music box. If I turn this one on, we have a subtle heartbeat, which is actually going to start playing right around here in the adventure map before you make that jump. Or maybe after you fall into the pit. But there's going to be a heartbeat, but also it has changed the sound effect of the cannon to this. Yellow portal is this. Blue portal is this. And dart trap is this. I am thinking about increasing the volume of the heartbeat. It is quiet, but I can turn the music up so you could hear it for now. So I will be increasing the volume of that before I release the resource pack. I just haven't done it just yet. The reason why I've done these, they're the lunatic cultist sound effects, but those are going to be the shadow gods that come out at you once you've fallen into this trap and they're taking you into the shadow room. That's just going to be what they sound like while they're talking to you, right? So when I make that explosion, I believe the cannon explosion is just the explosion sound, period. Like if I throw grenade, I think it's the same sound. So in that case, if I were to make this explosion, I think it's going to make it sound like, which could be fitting, make it sound like, I need water. Make it sound like the shadow creatures are first revealing themselves. So let's do this and find out. Yes, indeed. I like it. I like it. So, yeah, I think I will go with the explosives because as I just tested there, it broke the ground and oh no, I'm in God mode. I need to test that outside of God mode. Let's test that again. Here. Okay, so let's put ourselves into a vulnerable state and let's do this again. Why? Oh, I forgot the pressure plate. That would be why. Let's add the pressure plate too. And try again. Yeah, I don't think, like, even if that one was kind of a slow break, but I think even if that was a fast break, I would have survived that. Let's grab, just for testing purposes, grab dungeon brick. Why didn't I just type it out? Oh, it's not called dungeon brick. Duh. We'll put this here just so we could test the explosive several times. Okay. Now let's see if we get a faster break if I end up dying to this. That was still kind of a slow break. I know it could break faster than that, so we'll try again. It would help if I jumped. Every time I'm getting a slow break now. What the heck? Come on, game. Give me a fast break. I've seen you do it. You can't block swap with cracked brick. Oh well, doesn't matter. Oh, I didn't add the explosive. I think that you'll survive this every time. I just want to be certain. I don't want to just have you randomly die to an explosion. That makes zero sense whatsoever. I like it. I think we're going to go with this idea. The cracked dungeon brick plus the explosive. Because, yeah, I think you'll survive it. I have made a couple of things where there's an eyeball that follows you. I don't think it'd be fitting for this. But I haven't really made like a true horror map. It's something that I want to try for this Halloween. I don't know if I'll do that on a live stream or not, and I hope this adventure map is done by then so I have time to work on it. But ooh, that might not be good. I just landed there without it breaking. If you turn back the last second, you can land there without it breaking. I don't think there's any way to prevent that, though. Unless I make it a little bit further away, maybe. Nope, it still works. I'm not sure. Thanks for stopping by. See you later. Yeah, I'll definitely be placing the explosive in a way. There'll probably be two of them. But placing them in a way that it opens up this entirely. Granted, I don't think most... Okay, so it's definitely not guaranteed, because I turned back there. I saw my character turn back there. I do need to think of if they do that. Oh, I mean, maybe that's just a knowledge thing, right? Like, you still get the bonus if you do it that way. It's definitely harder than it was one block or one block closer. So I think that's the right idea. But I know that you can stop your momentum. Yeah, it's just not easy. You have to like turn right as you're over it. If you turn too late, you miss, or turn too late, you break this, turn too soon, and you miss and you fall. You know what? I'm fine with it. We could still have that here and still have it be a secret. We're going to leave it. What will break the players fall at the bottom? They will all be wearing lucky horseshoes. Fall damage is not a concern in this adventure map. I don't want fall damage to be a concern whatsoever. What if you put it at a lower level? I don't think that would fix the problem because you could turn and make your momentum shift at any time. As we've proven, these don't break based off of your vertical momentum whatsoever. I could go to the very top of the world and fall straight down onto it and they won't break. It's only if I'm moving left or right. What? Hold on. I tested that how many times and it didn't break. Why did it break there? I didn't have any horizontal momentum, right? Let's make sure that I turn on this. I'm sitting at... Oh, well, no. I can't just isolate. So, any horizontal momentum... Well, see, that didn't... I forgot to turn off God, or turn on God mode, but that didn't break them. So why did it break it the first time? Spider webs are not a great idea because when you break the spider webs, they drop his items, and that's something that I am wanting to avoid. I like spider webs, but I wish there was a version of spider web that didn't drop the web when you break it. RNGesus just wanted to prove me wrong. Yeah, that does tend to happen. I don't think your vertical momentum matters, but I don't know why that one broke, so I have no idea. I feel like I was still sliding a little bit there from the mount. Full stop. I could jump on this over and over again. Nothing happens. If I put on wings and the soaring insignia, let's see. And we fly straight up. I'm just pressing space. I'm not pressing anything else. It breaks. Why? Not every time, but sometimes. It makes no sense. Terraria, please. Alright, doesn't matter. I'm going to leave it here. This is fine. It's good enough. It's just a bonus little secret area. Most people will just walk over here, see this. Alright, well, let's make this jump, and then it'll break and they'll fall. Passive-aggressive death text. I feel like some of those already exist. You think the gravestone stopped that break? I don't think that's the case. Is it? It's not a chest. No, yeah. The gravestone doesn't prevent breaking of blocks. The gravestone will break itself. Yeah, I can run over here and do that. See? It'll still break. So that's definitely not the reason. I think it's just, yeah, consistency. The background walls don't affect this at all. That background wall is just there for me to mark it. Like if I were to land, so let's see. I could land on this one just from a straight fall, and we'll see. I mean, it's not consistent enough for me to know, but it shouldn't matter. Background walls shouldn't impact anything. How much longer am I going to stream? How long have I been streaming? Let's see. Uh, for another 20 minutes or so. I don't like thin ice just because it would look weird in this instance. Or thin ice. It's not an area that has any snow or ice in it, and even if I color these, it's still just gonna look like thin ice that's been painted gray. It doesn't suddenly look like it's stone. It might look like it's a cobweb, I guess. I guess that could be something that looks like a cobweb. I could even go as far as changing the resource pack to make the sound effect of this sound like, I guess, sound like this. And that might make it feel like a cobweb, and maybe I'll do that. I don't know. I don't know. It's not a bad idea. It's definitely more reliable because that's based off of your vertical momentum. So even if I were to turn back at the last second, it's gonna break. I don't know. I'll think about it. I like the cracked brick more, but it's not a terrible idea either. Let's turn music back on and turn in-game music back off. If you make a waterfall, and that could be fog or steam. I definitely plan on using fog machines at the bottom of the waterfall. Fog. It looks very good. It'll be nice to actually be able to hide the fog machine. Does it break more if you simply walk over it? Yeah, but not if you're walking slowly. It'll never break if you walk slowly. It only breaks if you're moving quickly. So that's why this jump exists, because you need high movement speed to get across. The problem is, the reason why it doesn't break if you turn around is because you are suddenly slamming the brakes on your momentum, your forward momentum. And the game realizes that, and it stops that braking from happening. It's a very, very, very tiny issue, and I don't think it's something that I need to be worried about. It says it breaks if you're moving faster than 12 pixels per tick. Well, that's clearly not the case when I have instances where I'm falling from a height and it's not breaking. Like, maybe if I grabbed a portal gun, even that wouldn't break. I don't know. Maybe it would. The wiki's not always accurate, and they're making estimations based off of observations, which is also what I'm doing. See, I was definitely moving much faster than 12 ticks or 12 pixels per second there, per tick, even. And that one just broke from a very, very small jump there. I had zero momentum going the other way. But there's also the fact that I could be going very quickly into the bottom of it, and it'll never break like that. So it's not just movement speed. So I don't know. It's kind of complicated, but also a non-issue. Like, that's just the tiniest thing to have to worry about here. I don't think it's a big problem. I can't believe that tiny jump just broke it, though. That's ridiculous. Look at that. Why did that break? But sometimes it doesn't. That did. Eh, there you go. I mean, that's just, that proves it right there. I was going slower than 12 pixels per tick there. I don't know. They're really finicky. I'm not too worried about it though. All right, now for the crumbling space, I want to make sure that I've placed explosives. We'll do it with blue bricks for now, just because they can't be destroyed. And we're going to test this several times. But I want to make sure that it doesn't drop any blocks. So it's only surrounded by cracked brick. Oh, that would be interesting, though. So players are going to be walking on this, right? If they miss this jump and they fall here, they could potentially break these and fall. I don't know. Now I'm suddenly questioning the idea of the cracked bricks here. You're watching my IQ go up by the second because of cracked bricks. I don't think they're changing my IQ. I feel like I'm just overanalyzing. I'd like for players to be able to walk here without falling through. I want the jump to be the thing that causes the fall. Because otherwise, if they walk on these and it just crumbles beneath their feet, then they could end up picking up the explosive, which has the same problem that you could see wiring with it whenever you're carrying it, which could be a very bad thing. It doesn't matter if you don't get it. It only matters if it works most of the time. Doesn't work every time. Use a player sensor in proximity of the cracked bricks and the jump. The issue's not with making the jump. I can have an orange pressure plate right here that will register when they've made the jump. The issue's with missing the jump. If I'm going to be making this floor out of cracked brick as well, so that way it could just crumble beneath them, then that means it could crumble beneath them if they miss the jump. If they miss the jump. And that could be an issue of its own. Does falling sand break cracked brick? That's a good question. Or I guess in this case, I would go with silt because it looks more like stone. I actually don't know. Let's find out. It doesn't look like it. No, I don't think it does. That could have been a decent solution. I mean, it still can be a solution, but those silt blocks would end up getting dropped. Fill it with water. Maybe that actually, can you break cracked brick that has water slowing you down? I don't know. Let's test it. Worth a shot. That might be a good idea. Well, I'm not worried about the... Well, actually, if the silt falls, I was more worried about the loose items. So I don't want loose items to land in the player's inventory, but if the items just land on, like if the silt lands on the floor and doesn't become a loose item, then it'd be fine, actually. So that might be just fine. Just having a layer of silt land on the floor at the very bottom and not become a loose item. But I wouldn't have realized that. Why do I have 3 stacks of dirt? I wouldn't have realized that if you hadn't mentioned that, so thanks for bringing that up. I still want to test this water thing, though. Hello. Oh no, it absolutely still breaks, even when you're walking underwater. Okay, so the solution that we're going to go with, and I do like it, I just need to make sure that none of the silt breaks from the explosion. Why do you delete your streams? I don't delete my streams. My streams are, the VODs are unlisted, but they are in a public playlist. So if you want to go to my YouTube page and you look at playlists, you will see a playlist called Stream VODs, and every single live stream VOD that I do on this channel ends up there. The reason why they're unlisted, though, is because a live stream algorithm and the video algorithm are two completely separate things on YouTube. However, once a live stream is complete, the VOD becomes a video and starts impacting the video algorithm as long as it's publicly listed. So that would be bad for me because on average, I'll stream around 2 to 3 hours, maybe sometimes 4 hours. And in that 4 hour, let's say 3 hour live stream, people watch an average of 10 to 12 minutes per person. It gets very low view counts. So my videos tend to get like 20 to 50,000 views. My live streams get about 2 to 3,000 views, for maybe pushing it with 5,000 views, right? It's a fraction of what I get. So when the video video algorithm treats a VOD like a video, it's like, wow, he has this really long video that nobody watches and they don't watch it for very long. It must mean that everybody hates his channel. We're not going to promote his videos anymore. It hurts my channel with the algorithm, hurts my standing with the algorithm to have those VODs listed publicly. But if I put them unlisted into a public playlist, the playlist is something you all can find. It's visible on my channel. The VODs are all there. You can click them, watch them all. But the videos themselves, the VODs themselves, are unlisted, so they don't engage with the algorithm, which helps me. It's really complicated. It sucks that I have to do that. The only way that I wouldn't have to do that is if I was like a multi-million subscriber channel, or if all I did was live streaming, then it wouldn't be a problem. But I don't. My primary source of revenue, the most source of my views, comes from videos. So it's a little bit different. Going to get some lunch because it's noon, but you'll be back. I'm going to be ending the stream in 3 minutes myself because it is also my lunch time, and after lunch break, I'm going to be working on videos. So we are towards the end of the stream. So if you guys have any questions that you want answered or anything that you'd like to talk about in the last few minutes, be sure to bring it up at the next live stream, which will be tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Pacific. I will be starting the decoration and making this forest actually look good. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Peanut butter and Nutella. Peanut butter, by far. I do not like Nutella. It's way too sweet. I'm not a big fan of sweets. I love hazelnut, but sweets, ugh. What am I going to eat for breakfast? Well, it's my lunch break. I already had breakfast, but my breakfast was toast with egg and salsa and spinach, like I mentioned earlier, I think. Does the tier 2 membership or Patreon benefit me more? So, all in all, Patreon tends to benefit me more because the money goes straight to me immediately. I don't need to wait 30 days to get it with YouTube. And then Patreon takes a smaller cut than YouTube does. So I actually do get paid more from Patreon. But if you're planning on hanging out in the live streams and just chilling out with me, I would definitely recommend YouTube memberships because you guys get an awesome badge near your name. You guys get the emotes, and you still get access to the Discord server. So I'm not going to say don't become a member. It's very beneficial to you guys, and I still do get a cut from it. It's just YouTube takes a slightly bigger cut than Patreon. Um, Kuro Okami, thank you so very much for a $50 donation. That's extremely generous of you. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. He says, have a good lunch. I certainly will. Thank you so much. I'm actually going to be having some enchilada casserole leftover that I had for dinner last night, but it'll be delicious. Thank you so much. How do you become a member? Below the stream, there are several different buttons. Right next to this subscribe button, which I recommend you all do. You know what? Let's just go ahead and play this. You know what? Why not? Subscribe. And if you are subscribed, turn on the notifications, leave a like on the video or the stream. It actually does help. But next to that, you'll also see a join button. I believe it's called. I might say member. I think it's join. And then you sign up to that to become a member. For the base tier, it's $1.99 a month. It's super cheap. You love the builds. Thank you very much. Before we go, I'll give you guys a look at what we accomplished today. So we got the framework for the parkour done. We'll be decorating that tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to look pretty good when it's done, I think. But let's also show you guys the town because I'm really proud of the town. It's very quaint. I love this dead forest chopped down area, the lumber mill, the butcher's house where we'll be starting our adventure with dripping meat. And then the clock tower, the merchant's house, everything. It's all coming together. Thank you guys for the feedback, the input. Thank you everybody who has donated or become members today. I really do appreciate it. And again, I'll be streaming tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific. And then the day after that, it'll be another morning stream. So those of you that are in Europe can catch the time on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and those of you that are in the US and prefer later stream, or those of you that are in Australia or Asia, the later streams work better for you as well. Those will be Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, as long as I don't have any noise interruptions or stuff like that. Shino Cam coming back soon, maybe. So the Shino Cam had issues and it started wicking out and breaking. I have an old webcam that still works, but it sometimes has an issue. It might lock up, the camera itself might lock up, or it sometimes even freezes my computer, and I would have to restart the stream if that happens. But I might bring that out and see if we can get it to work. So maybe the next stream or the next two streams, I'll see about bringing that webcam out. Other than that, I need to save up for a bit and get a better webcam in general. But that's probably going to be after the new year. We'll see. So, any After Dark streams planned? Maybe tonight. I might want to play some more Subnautica tonight. Let's see how much work I get done on my videos, though. I need to make that the priority. So, no promises, but possibly later tonight. If you guys don't know, you can do exclamation point After Dark, I believe, to see the link to my other YouTube channel where I just play random games on occasion on live stream. Do I like tactical shooters? I'm not really good at shooters in general. Do you know how to extend the range of portal stations, like from mid of the map to the edge of the map? I've never really looked into that before, no. How good is the rent where I live? Too expensive for me. It's not as bad as it was when I was living in California, which me and my ex-wife did when she was stationed there. She's in the military. But it's pretty expensive here still. My rent is about Well, it's just under $1,500 a month, but that's without bills, utilities, and all that. That's just flat rent. But that's going to do it for today's stream. I'll answer more questions and all of that tomorrow if you guys show up, or the day after that, or whenever you guys do show up. Thank you all very much for watching. I will catch you all later, and let's go ahead and run the credits. Maybe they'll actually work this time.